This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Shut up. Well, let's get back to it.
Texts and tweets from last night. This is one that I thought about reading for you last night, but then I thought, well, at this time of night, as I thought last night, not at this time of night, the time of night that I was thinking last night. Is it clear so far?
No.
The time of night that I was thinking last night was about 12:30 when I saw this email. I thought, you're not going to want to hear this then, just before some of you would go bye-byes. So I thought I'll be a decent, kind and thoughtful person, and I'll lay it over until this evening. So I'm going to do it first so you can get over it, and it's not going to keep you up all night. Prepare yourself. Tom emails, just found the biggest spider I have ever seen in the UK. In my bathroom, he said. I plucked up the courage to trap it and release it at the far end of the garden and then ran back into the house fast. I took a photo of it and scrolled through 65 images to identify it as a false wolf spider.
Oh, no.
The size of a wolf. Can you believe that? He said they bite and they come from the Mediterranean and are spreading in the UK due to climate change. Watch out, people. What's Suella Braverman doing about that, says Tom. Exactly. Thanks a lot, Suella Braverman. See what you've done? He's frightened out of his mind. I've been finding spiders in my place, and they do seem unusually large. I mean, huge. About that big. No, wait. That big. Massive. And I took a picture of it as well. And when you scroll in, I mean, quite bad from a distance. Get Bette Midler on the phone and she'll explain. She's not picking up. Keep trying. From a distance, they look pretty bad. But when you take a picture of it and then you zoom in, holy moly, it's like the alien monster. Its legs are covered in hair for a start. And they're huge. I thought, if you're going to deal with a rolled up newspaper, then a tabloid is not going to do it. You're going to need the Daily Telegraph. A broadsheet is what is required. Or you could do what I do and then put a glass over it, and then it goes berserk. It goes like around and around and around and around and around, like, trying to identify something to attack. And then tip it upside down with a piece of paper on it and then just chuck it as far as you can. But it's probably one of those homing spiders. But it did seem unusually large. Now, I don't want to go on and on about it, but it was it must have had, 16, 17 legs. Way too many legs. Hairy. Did I mention the hair? Huge. It was about the size of a computer mouse. Not the... from tip to stern, or whatever the appropriate terms are for spiders. It was about, 2.5 inches. Just way, way, way too big. So I thought I'll do exactly what Tom did, and I'll scroll through images to try to identify it. But then I thought, you know what, I really don't want to do that, and so I didn't. And so I'm trying to put it out of my mind. But always check for spiders before you, use the facilities or get into bed, because you don't want to share a bed with one of those things. Terrifying. And it's all thanks to global warming.
Thank you.
Glenn texts. These are texts and tweets and such from last night. I'm just wiping them up because that is the sort of professionalism I bring to this show. Glenn texts, what does Sir Gavin Williamson have on Fishy? How did he get the role of Secretary of State without portfolio? Also known as Secretary of State for doing nothing much, but I get a red box and a nice car. Strange, no, says Glenn.
No.
No, it's not strange at all. It fits in with everything else that's been going on lately. I mean, they just stand up and shuffle about a bit and sit down in a new chair, and we're expected to believe that they're experts in their new role. I mean, if they were a catastrophic failure in their previous role, then it's quite likely that they're going to be a catastrophic failure in the next one. God, what a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Chowina tweets, could you please explain to us how far the deal with India is? How far it is? It's about 4,600 miles. I think you find that's pretty accurate. 4,600 miles, Choina. And it's going very, very badly, like everything else concerned with Brexit. Like every single other thing that is concerned with Brexit is going very, very badly.
Brexit's going great.
Egypt. Because, the Indians want free movement of people. And people in this country said...
No.
Yeah. This is us taking back control. Lee emails... To use a football analogy, if Sunak was a manager that knows when to settle the team with a pragmatic formation, he is still faced with a team of hopeless has-beens that are only interested in getting a big wage packet. Was he talking about Manchester United? He says the whole team is rotten. The whole team is rotten and doomed for relegation. No, it's not Manchester United. It's Leicester. He said the manager doesn't care because he'll be paid off with the contract termination. The owners don't care either, as they've already stripped the club of its assets, leaving the despairing fans of the little people to reflect on better days as the stadium crumbles around them. Yeah, or to put it more succinctly, Lee, sovereignty. Graham tweets, have you seen that Therese Coffin is now the Environment Secretary? When tested on her own credentials, she quoted the reusable cup as her personal mission towards saving the planet. I guess if appetite is taken into consideration, this could be quite some contribution. Well, that's just offensive, Graham, but true. And on that subject, and I'll get on to Therese Coffin in just a minute. Ed tweets, Therese Coffin went from work and pensions to health to environment. She's now the country's very own bag for life. A listener with material.
Oh, no.
I'll let that one go. She's the country's very own bag for life. Excellent value for money. 0345 6060 973. First call, suspiciously keen, South Norwood. Good evening, Philip.
Good evening, Nick. Before you get on to your political talkings,
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention sad news about Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis died.
Rock and roll!
I mean, they said, didn't they, the other day that he denied that he died. And
That's
then,
right.
And,
Yes.
because he said he got the
spoke
flu.
too soon. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it seems it's sadly true.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the late 50s, Nick, I was due to go and see Jerry Lee Lewis at the Trocadero at the Elephant and Castle.
Right.
Say. And because we all went there, and because he, as you know, he didn't turn up because he had slight domestic problems.
I did not know that. How do I know that?
Well, I thought everybody knew because they made a film about it, didn't they? Great Balls of Fire, Dennis Quaid as JerryLee Lewis.
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, well, anyway, yes, so of course he had to go back, and I never saw him, but which was sad because, I mean, he's so vibrant.
So wait a minute, Philip. Is this a story about you going to a gig and the artist didn't show up, so you never saw him?
Well, I didn't see him, Nick. I was due to go. I got tickets given to me to go and see Jerry Lee Lewis.
Are you explaining further the story where you went to see somebody but they weren't there?
Well, as I say, they just didn't because
they didn't show up because he had other problems.
Yes, he did. So because the people who were supporting on the bill were moved up.
Who were they?
The great Treniers. Have you heard of the Treniers?
No.
The Treniers were a group of about 6 black guys, and they were great. They did. They were in the film The Girl Can't Help It.
Well, I didn't see that one either. No.
No, they're really great. But
were they in Sliding Doors? Because I saw that just the other day.
No, they as I say, they were in the film The Girl Can't Help It. Rocking Is Our Business.
I didn't see it.
Song.
I didn't see it, just like you didn't see Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the songs, he was great, wasn't he? I mean, his performances and...
yeah, let's sing some of them now. Go ahead.
Come from a Great Balls of Fire. I mean, the people that recorded that, have you heard Mae West's version of Great Balls of Fire?
No, and neither do I want to.
Oh, it's fantastic. It really...
Like science fiction, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
That was the only reason I called it, just to say...
Okay, just to see that you went to see somebody, but they weren't there. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Philip. 0345 6060 973. Keith texts, spot on with private education. This is about something I was talking about last night. Private education. Oh, yeah, the private schools are charitable foundations. So they don't pay tax like an ordinary business does. But they are an ordinary business. They're making money. They're not. How are they being able to get away with being a charitable foundation? How? Well, the answer obviously is because those in charge like to send their children there and they don't want to pay full price. So us poor dopes who pay taxes have to stump up part of the bill. What a racket, eh? It's incredible. He says, spot on with private education, charity... well, this is the way it's written. Spot on with private education, exclamation mark. Charity so it does not pay VAT. Anyone sending their kid to a state school but wants to help them by buying a bit of tuition from a company, online or in person, will be charged VAT, though, says Keith, who needs help with his and I just forgot the name of the thing that he needs help with. And I'm blaming the state school education I received. And we're off to a flying start. James tweets, whom should we fear most, Elon Musk and Trump, or Cruella Braverman and Wishy Sunak? Well, I think Donald Trump seems like a busted flush. He ain't coming back. He might go to jail. And Cruella Braverman, her record in her position means that she might see out the next week, or she might not. And as for Fishy Sunak, I don't know why he's bothered to move his furniture in. What's the point? At this stage, what's the point? Just look at the brief tenure of your predecessors, Fishy. You do the maths.
And 2, 6 million.
Close. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Oh, hello.
0345 6060 973. I've just been alerted to this breaking news. Or at least it was breaking at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. There's a row over the Prime Minister. Can you remember who the Prime Minister is at the moment? Anyone at all? Hands up at the back. Fishy Sunak. Fishy Sunak's refusal to attend the COP27 climate summit took an extraordinary twist just now as the Observer... You know the Observer, don't you?
Boring.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah, that's them. The Observer was informed that his predecessor but one... Can you remember who the previous one was? Not the one now, not Boris, but the one in the middle. You remember who that was?
I'm genuinely unclear.
Bodger Johnson is going to go to COP27. Bodger is going to COP.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Can you believe that? He's planning to attend the event. Several sources said that they've been told that Bodge is intending to go to the crucial meeting of world leaders in Egypt, wherever that is, to show his solidarity with the battle against the climate crisis. Yeah, good one, Bodge. Yeah, he really cares about the climate. He just wants some more of that hot... I don't know what's wrong with me. Last night, my brain really wasn't active at all. And tonight, I've fallen flat on my face with 2 sentences practically in a row. Spotlight! How could I not pull that out of the air? He misses the spotlight. I think I might have something, like a little something. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
I think there is something that is hampering my performance. But don't worry about me. I am a trained professional and I will work through it. On Saturday night, it says here, there were signs of a row that's tonight. Signs of a row at the highest levels of government over Bodge's intentions and indications that efforts may be underway to get the former Prime Minister to change his mind. Asked whether Johnson was attending COP27, the Cabinet Office, which is in charge of COP planning and preparations, said it could not answer directly. It said, no idea. A spokesmodel said the government is absolutely committed to supporting COP27 by not going. And absolutely committed to leading international action to tackle climate change and protect nature, just as long as they don't have to do anything about tackling climate change and nature can go hang. The UK will be fully represented by senior ministers and blah, 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 blah. It remains unclear whether Johnson is planning to go as part of the official UK government delegation. Yeah, that's a big no.
No.
No. Because he's not a part of the government. And on and on and on it goes. What an absolute shower. I mean, really. Meanwhile, asked what the Environment Secretary, Therese Coffin, has done for the environment lately, she said she uses permanent cups to tackle global warming. We are saved. Therese Coffin uses permanent cups. And there was us thinking that she might not be suited to the role of Environment Minister, having voted almost consistently against plans to protect the environment. But now we know about that whole permanent cups thing. Well, problem solved.
Thank you.
And what's a permanent cup when it's at home? I mean, who even says that? Is it permanent as opposed to temporary? And what would a temporary cup be? One that's only a cup for a while and then it turns into something else, like a plate or a monocle. Hey, Smug, did you know your monocle used to be a temporary cup?
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
He still doesn't know anything. Asked about what she's ever done to save the planet, Therese Coffin, the newly appointed expert Environment Secretary, said, I've always tried to keep the good habits that I got into when I was Environment Minister before. So the use of kind of cups, as it were, to be about permanent cups that we can recycle properly or reuse, I think is a better way of doing it. Does that make sense?
No.
That's literally what she said. I mean, I understand all of the words that she said, in just not the order in which she said them. Okay, so you don't recycle permanent cups, apart from anything else. I've always tried to keep good habits that I got into when I was Environment Minister before, so the use of kind of cups, as it were, to be about permanent cups that we can recycle properly or reuse, I think is a better way of doing it. Who recycles permanent cups? You wash them with water. Water. You know, the stuff they cut whiskey with.
Booze.
That's it. She said, we just all have to keep thinking about the amount of packaging we endure or food waste and other elements like that. I don't think we need to be concerned there's any food waste around Therese Coffin's place. She said, so I'll be getting back very much to being a champion for those habits, which is about improving what we can do every day in order to help tackle the environment challenges we face. You know, which would be fine and heartwarming if it was a 5-year-old who'd just seen a climate change report on Blue Peter and wanted to do something to help. I'll reuse my cup, Mummy. But this is the actual Secretary of State for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, and she's going on about cups. Well, it's got nothing to do with cups, permanent or recycled. It's probably about being refreshed. Like in her cups. But she couldn't have been drunk because that interview that she was on was in the morning. Although maybe she'd been up all night on one of those number 10 business meetings. And now that Fishy Sunak is skipping the climate meeting, you know, the single most important issue that faces mankind, the Minister for the Climate was asked why he wasn't going on, or she rather, and she said, how do I know? I'm totally off my head. I don't even know where I am. She didn't say that. She actually said that she was not aware other world leaders, such as Joe Biden or the French President Emmanuel Macron, would be attending. But any fool know, if they had read a paper that day, that both of those world leaders are going. But why would she know that? I mean, she's just a minister of the actual blooming environment, that's all. Meanwhile, a UN report warned this week that there was no credible way to prevent global temperatures rising above a key threshold of 1.5 degrees. Have you been out today? Scientists have predicted a 1.5 degree of warming would result in extreme heat waves, oceans rising, the destruction of all that stuff you see on the David Attenborough show. You know, the flora and the fauna. And you might not care about it now, but just wait till your sofa is sailing out of the living room window on a tide of hot sewage caused by people not recycling their caps. 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in Clacton. Hello, Ben.
Hello.
Ben.
Yes, I would listened all day about that nice man, Richie Sunak, and he got to be given a chance.
Oh, God. Here we go. Leave him alone. He's doing his best.
Yes, that's right. Now, there was a great saying, and you probably agree with it, that you don't always believe what a politician says, but you always believe what they do.
Right.
And what he's done doesn't, 12 times mentioning compassion when he's totally the opposite of that, because he froze the tax threshold for the low paid, which is not compassionate, froze benefits, which is not compassionate, boasted about taking money from the poor and giving it to the rich.
He actually did that. Yes, he boasted about it. Yes.
Yes. Now, that's totally against one of the main Planck's policies that they were elected on. And everybody's saying, oh, give him a chance. I mean, you know.
It is painful. And they're saying that. And, you know, they did not say it, curiously enough, they didn't say it about Liz Truss.
Absolutely.
Nobody said, leave her alone, she's doing her best, because she's completely, and I mean this in like a loving way, she's completely unlikable. Whereas Bodger Johnson had this sort
Wait.
sort of puppy dog appeal about him, and Fishy Sunak has got the same thing. I mean, look at his hair, look at his eyes. Isn't he an absolute dream? And people think he's like a pet. He's not a pet.
Well, not going to he agrees with Suella Braverman. I mean, every time there's a vote in Parliament about climate change, she votes against any measures to deal with climate change.
It's also, what would Donald Trump do?
Oh, shut up!
He put somebody in a position of power in a department that they are ideologically opposed to. It's exactly what he would do.
And Teresa Coffey's comments about when she was in charge of the National Health Service for about 2 weeks, when she was asked about the thousands of nurses leaving in the National Health Service, oh, it doesn't matter about that. We'll get them from abroad.
That's right. If they don't leave it, if they don't like it, they can leave.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. What an absolute state.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally crazy. I mean, what is the point of Teresa Coffey? I mean,
what is the point of any of them? I think they get put in a position where they just gaslight us. Did you see Fishy Sunak's video that he actually tweeted this out himself, or one of his PR bods under the oh God, what's wrong with me? The official account of Number 10 Downing Street, he tweeted out the video of him, you know, yakking on about integrity and smiling and, you know, all that, waltzing around in his skinny suit. He had the music of Rock and Roll Part 1 by Gary Glitter.
Booze.
No, damn it, that's the wrong one.
What?
That one. Gary Glitter.
Yes. It sums up the whole government. I mean, if they get in again, it'll be a total disaster. I mean, absolute. What are they going to do? Where are they going to get the cuts? They've already cut to the bone. 60% of councils' budgets have been cut, so they can't cut. They can't possibly cut there anymore.
Oh, yes, they can. Don't tempt them. I'm sure that's exactly what they're going to be doing. I mean, it's not going to be the rich that are shouldering the burden, is it?
No.
No chance. No, because he is one of the rich, and they seem averse to doing their bit. And the more they've got, the more averse they seem to become. Ben, I'm going to have to go, but thanks for that. Yeah, unless it was a doctored video, Fishy Sunak released his welcome to your new boss, same as the old boss video, and the music was Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 1. Which seems like a bold choice. Now, I can only assume, well, one of three things. First, his team have a very bizarre sense of humour, and he didn't know what that music was. Two, it's one of his team are trying to undermine him. I guess that's the same one. 1 and 2 are the same. So 2 is that he's trying to gaslight us. That's what people are talking about. Twitter was alive with it. So we're not concentrating on what he said or what he did. We're concentrating on the music that accompanied him, waltzing about the place. It's distraction bombs, precisely what Donald Trump would do. It's also excruciatingly painful. I can't stand it anymore. 0345 6060 973.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbot.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Yeah, it's about using the music of Gary Glitter on the number 10 video of Fishy Sunak's first few days. Number 10 says music on Fishy Sunak's video is certainly not the Gary Glitter song. Yes, it certainly is. Social media users, this is the story in Sky. Social media use. Now, what do you mean by that?
Apparently, it's Tiger Blood Jewel by Tiger Beat. That was the official line from Downing Street yesterday.
Oh, get lost.
That's what they said.
I don't care. Tiger Beat? Tiger Beat? What's that?
I have no idea.
No, I don't know either. Who are they kidding? Social media, this is the Sky News report. Social media users questioned if the background music used was from the Gary Glitter's single Rock and Roll. They weren't questioning it, they were saying it. They were saying, oh my God, they're using Gary Glitter's song Rock and Roll. Downing Street has been forced to deny music used in a promotional video of Prime Minister Fishy Sunak is a song by Gary Glitter. A 1-minute video captioned, "We will work day in, day out to deliver for you." Yeah, that's right. That's what you're going to do. It was the video was published on the official 10 Downing Street Twitter account today. You know, because they're spending all their time on Twitter because they got nothing more pressing to do. That's great. Working day in, day out to spend all day wasting their time on Twitter. It captures Fishy Sunak's first few days as Prime Minister, showing his hair and his ears and his eyes, and isn't he an absolute dream? But social media users questioned if the background music used was from Glitter's song Rock and Roll. They weren't questioning it, they were saying, oh my God, they're using Gary Glitter's song Rock and Roll. Some drew comparisons between the drum patterns of the songs. Get lost, they're the same. It sounded like somebody had sampled it. It wasn't precisely the same, but it was enough of the same that there's absolutely no question in my mind. I'd bet my house on it. A Downing Street spokesmodel refuted the comparison. I challenge you, go listen to it and tell me it ain't Rock and Roll by Gary Glitter. Now, to be clear, and I'm going to say something controversial now.
Oh, no.
I think it's a great song. You have to separate the art from the artist, because if we didn't, then all of the galleries in the National Gallery would be half empty. All of those pictures would need to pass some sort of test. You can get rid of all the Picassos for a start. In my opinion, the B side of that song, which is pretty much an instrumental, it's called Rock and Roll Part 2. I think it's one of the best pop songs ever made. And that ain't just me, because boxers used to use it to come out, used to be their coming out music, and American football teams used to use it when they ran out onto the pitch, and it's just so stirring. And the reason is, I think, because two drummers. They got two drummers on that track. And so much echo. I mean, it's just great. But it's Gary Glitter. Not supposed to use that. And now they're trying to convince us that what we can hear, we can't hear. You know, like some sort of Jedi mind trick. Big problem, though, they're not Jedis. 0345 6060 973. either it was a gigantic mistake that they're trying to wheedle their way out of, or it was another example of them throwing a distraction bomb out the window, because this is what people are talking about now. And they're not talking about the fact that Fishy Sunak has just rearranged the bottoms on the seats around the cabinet table. They're all the same blooming people that failed as the last time, and the time before that, and the time before that. I mean, talk about your shallow pool of talent. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about the music that accompanied some video promo. Like he's a pop star. Nobody wants to hear you sing, Fishy. Oh 0345 6060 973. The Wirral. Hello, Nora.
Hi, Nick. Sorry, hi, Nick. I've been waiting so long, I've lost my voice. Hi. It was about Rishi.
Yeah.
And it is worrying what Abbot is doing to the climate, because it goes beyond electing Andy Capp's granny to be the environment minister. The other, because he sacked, I'll get this guy's name wrong, Alok Sharma.
Alok Sharma, right.
Yeah. So
he didn't sack him. I think he's removed him from being around the cabinet table, because he was he's the head, or the current head of COP, of the COP organisation, before they hand it over. And it's just the climate and the future of the planet on which we live. Nothing major.
No.
I mean, it's not like the planet makes money, so they're not interested.
But I'm a little bit torn, because I don't know whether to celebrate the fact that he got in and not Boris Johnson, or to be horrified at what the future seems to be, what the bodes for the future for the
Nora,
environment.
Keep this in mind. The bus is the same. The destination on the front of the bus remains the same. We're just taking a slightly different route with a new driver, but we're going to the same place.
Had Boris Johnson got into power, I would have had to emigrate to see that fat smoked face. Look at me, I'm back. I could not cope.
Where would you have gone, Nora? I mean, to leave the Wirral, the Leisure Peninsula. Where would you where in the world could you have gone to be an improvement on the Wirral? Wales. Oh, well, there you go. Wales. Not too much of a trip.
But the question I was going to ask, and this is, I haven't had a chance to ask anybody who is in the know whether this is true.
Right.
Had I keep saying Suella Benjamin, Suella Braverman, put her, she'd have pledged her affinity to Boris Johnson instead of Rishi Sunak, then he would have got in, so we would have been seeing him in power. And I think that's worse, in a way.
If Suella Braverman is actually instrumental in choosing the leader of this country, then I'm going to join you, Nora, but we're going to have to find somewhere further away than Wales.
Well, I'm loaded, so we'll be fine.
I'll see you at the airport. I'll bring my sunglasses. Thanks a lot, Nora. 0345 6060 973. Chris texts, the people of Fareham need to vote Suella Braverman out. She is a total liability in the country. Sacked and brought back is Farsley. What? What? She is total liability and the country. Sacked and brought back is Farsley. Full stop. But she is in a safe seat which might be less safe under a PR voting system. We need proportional representation. I tell you what, if Keir Starmer does not bring in proportional representation on day one of his premiership, then he needs to get sacked on day two. Who's with me? Hands in the air. 0345 6060 973. Scott tweets, I thought I would be a gentleman by opening the door for my wife, but we were going 70 miles an hour at the time. Jonathan texts, I have a chicken shop in London. What? Chicken shop? Do you sell anything else? He says, my bills this time last year were £1,200 for gas and electric. Now it's circa £4,000. I've had to sell the business at a reduced rate of 50% as to when I bought it just before COVID. Last year made no profit but more debt. Think this counter will see mass unemployment and poverty. Counter? Yeah, well, I think mass unemployment and poverty is in our future. And Laurie texts, filthy rish, I get it. Filthy Rich is no different from the rest of them. We're all going to hell in a handcart. I'm practicing now so I can get a head start, says Laurie. Yeah, hell in a handcart is the destination on the front of the bus. You know, that big red bus that was banging on about the 350 million quid. Liar! Exactly. That bus. None of us bought a ticket, but we're on there anyway. Can you believe that?
Oh, fabulous.
Britain's Conversation, LBC, with Nick Abbott.
Now, wait a minute. I don't like that kind of talk. Now, just stop it. It upsets me.
Here's some talk in East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, how are you tonight?
I am great, mate.
Yeah, I must admit, last night you did sound a bit sharper than usual with people, and it wasn't really like you.
Yeah, I did feel as though I'd caught something, and my voice seemed a bit like I'd got, something wrong with my throat. I had a bit of a headache.
Stop whining.
Stuff like that.
And you never struggle for words, and last night you.
Oh, sometimes I do.
Well, what I was ringing you about tonight, I'd sort of got 4 or 5 facts that were flicking around in my head trying to make sense of them.
Right, couple of 3 facts. Go ahead.
Sunak isn't going to COP27. And then he was saying, and then he brought Cruella into the cabinet.
Yeah.
And then he also said he was staying for domestic reasons to sort domestic problems out.
Right.
And that was national domestic, but then you sort of think laterally, you think there's more than one domestic. And so I was sort of trying to weigh it all together, and I thought, Cruella was messing up the Indian trade deal by complaining Indians were overstaying in UK. So the best thing you do with somebody causing you problems is bring them into the tent, so you can control them. So perhaps that's why that happened. And then
if he just fired her, then she wouldn't have had any business talking about it at all.
But from outside, she could have kept firing off things that could have upset the Indians again, which would have snookered the Indian trade deal. And then I thought, domestic, I thought, his father-in-law is huge mates with Modi, and his father and his father's mates in India are donors to Modi's party. And then I thought, Indian trade deal. So that sort of got me wondering, is it all this connected? And then I thought, we really need to watch this Indian trade deal really carefully when it comes through, because is that why he's not going to COP? Because he's so busy sorting this Indian trade deal out, the domestic one.
People are talking about Rishi Sunak as though he has only just appeared. He has been a part of the government for 12 years. The last 12 years they've been in power, he's been there or thereabouts every single day. But we're talking about him as though he's a brand new face, as though we have not encountered him before, as though he had no ability to change policies or affect some sort of positive change for the country in the last 12 years. What can he do for us now that he hasn't done already?
Well, he was only elected in 2015, but the point is, why is he so desperate to be PM? I mean, 700 million and...
Yeah.
Prospects.
Well, you could say that about all of them. I mean, why are all of them so desperate to be in that position where every single one of them could probably put their feet up and smoke a cigar for the rest of their lives? You don't need £700 million to have a relaxing time. All you need is a couple of million and somebody to control the credit card spending.
Yeah, there is that. And anyway, last bit, people are saying, why is Boris going to Sharm el-Sheikh? Well, his missus has sent him, because she's into all the green stuff. That's why he's going there.
She's into all the green stuff. Yeah, that's where the spotlight is, and there's also a lot of money there as well. A lot of money, big money, huge. So that, those 2 reasons alone, I think, is why he's going. Plus, did I mention about the spotlight? All right, thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Roger texts, I'm not concerned about the state of this country at all. Rishi and his wife have enough money to keep us ticking over for at least 2 years. Well, that's actually true. Stamford, Connecticut. Hello, Martin.
Hi, Nick. I just want to correct you a little bit about the Gary Glitter situation.
Yes.
You said that song used to be played at games here in the US.
Yeah.
It still is. I've never been to a game or seen a game where it wasn't played. So It's still alive and well over here.
And that's at professional level, not college?
College and professional, yes.
So the teams run out to Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter?
Either that or it's played as a warm-up song to before they even come on. So yes, I've never been to any type of sporting event where it wasn't played.
Blimey! I mean, have you been in America long enough to know that whether he had a career in America or not? I mean, do they know who Gary Glitter is?
They don't.
And he just got cut off. Where have you gone? That's that international telephone. Maybe Vladimir Putin has cut that line. Thanks a lot, Vlad. Very interested in what that bloke had to say. Never mind. We'll never know. Is he still there? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
I don't know what happened there.
With my iPhone here. Yeah, I said I've been here 33 years, but he did have 2 minor hits, and in fact, Rock and Roll was 1 hit back in like 1972 or 73.
And I'm right. I know you're not supposed to say things like that, but that is a fantastic song. The production on it is just great, and it's the 2 drummers and the echo that's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think you and I were born the same year, so we were probably drumming away to it when we were about 11 or 12 years old.
Right. I bought it. Pretty sure that I still have that single.
I agree.
What am I offered? Nothing? All right. Okay, then. All right. Thanks a lot, Martin. 0345 6060 973. But, of course, number 10 says that it wasn't Gary Glitter, even though everybody knows that it is Gary Glitter. Absolutely, totally, and completely is Gary Glitter on that promotional video. You know, that soft focus video where I'm surprised they didn't film him on the sofa stroking his dog. You know, or just lounging around in cashmere hoodies of various pastel shades. Just look into his eyes. Isn't he a total dream? Leave him alone. He's doing his best. Oh, God, it's vomitous. I bet, what's her name? How quickly we forget. I bet Liz Truss.
Absolutely.
I bet Liz Truss is absolutely furious because nobody said, leave her alone, she's doing her best. We couldn't wait to get rid of her. Same with Mrs. M. Sounds pretty sexist to me. Blokes can be no end of incompetent oafs, and people will defend them to the hilt. But when women do the same, we want them out of here. I'm outraged. What do you think, Smug?
I don't know anything.
He still doesn't know anything. We're missing... Well, actually, we're not missing you. We're not missing you already, Smug. Keep doing what you're doing, which was... I've got absolutely no idea. Pretending you're in an Oscar Wilde play. Bazza emails. So the Fiesta and Focus is getting stopped. I hope... What? Is this worth reading? Because it seems unusually long for an email, but okay then. All right, Nick. I assume that's what you mean. O-R-Y-T. All right. All right, Nick, mate. So the Fiesta and Focus is getting stopped. I hope all the leftists, eco-warriors, are finally happy they got what they... Oh, you know what? I can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered, Bazza. Try again. But not on this show. Text somebody else. Boris texts, not that one, surely. Richie going to win. You keep talking about Brexit. It done. Get over it. You lost it. That's got to be the same person. Brexit's got done, you lost. Well, everybody lost. We all lost. How's Brexit going?
Brexit's going great.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Brexit's going great, you said. But who's he?
I'm a nutcase.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Rachel says, the trouble is that the Tories caused this mess through lying through their teeth and ramming Brexit down our throats. Now they're expecting us to pay when it is what they wanted, not us, in order to bankrupt the country and short the pound, making their pals millions. Well, there's a couple of thoughts sort of secreted in amongst that word jumble, which are completely correct in every respect. And by the way, why aren't those people in jail? You know, we were told, us lefty Ramonas, were told that we were being unpatriotic when we refused to believe that Brexit is a good idea. Turns out we were completely correct in every respect. But I think the people who are unpatriotic just may be those who were, on the one hand, pouring an enormous amount of money into persuading us to leave, and on the other hand, betting a vast amount of money on leaving being bad for the economy. That happened. It's still happening, making hundreds of millions of pounds. I mean, just think about that for a second. The people that were behind Brexit poured vast amounts of money into persuading us to leave, while at the same time betting that leaving would be bad for the country. How is that legal? Why are they not in jail forever? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Oh, hello.
Do you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
Yeah, my initial word is, now I don't have to watch a match of the day. All of that time I've saved. And the clocks are going back again. Every year this comes around. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Wait a minute. Woo! Oh, that was great. Did you get any? Woo! Oh, I need to lie down and a cigarette. Richard texts, if pensions and benefits don't rise with inflation, Sunak will be gone by Christmas Eve. The eve of Jesus' birthday. Johnny texts, 20-degree Octobers and Sunak refuses to go to COP27. Coffee jumps from health to environment with her bag of antibiotics. What's wrong with these excuses for people fiddling while the world burns?
Disgusting.
Fiddling they are. Yeah, I'm on about 3 or 4 pints of Therese Coffin's antibiotics a day now, man. She just keeps giving them to me. I don't even know her. His call in, let's see, Brighton. Hello, John.
Hello there, Nick.
Hello, John.
Yeah. Whatever happened to Moggy, Jacob Rees-Mogg?
Yeah, no one cares.
I don't know. How quickly we forget.
Yeah. Straight away, yeah. Couldn't wait to forget.
Yeah. And also this Gary Gisler, this B-side, I have to check that out because you are a bit of an expert on the music, I think. I don't know if I can. Obviously, I know I think the rock and roll one, but I'm not sure about.
Well, it's the same.
Is it just an instrumental one?
It's the same. Listen to me. It's the same without the vocals. It's an instrumental.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
But the beauty of it is the 2 drums. The production on it is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I say, you are a bit of an expert.
Not really. I just know what I like, that's all.
Yeah, you are, yeah. No, but about the ministers, Therese Coffey, I am amazed at how expert and flexible they are on all this. Because only a few weeks ago, she was on Nick Ferrari as minister for, I'm not sure what, was it benefit? I don't know if she was minister for, was it benefits or health? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think she was a health expert, yeah.
Yes, she was on Nick Ferrari there, giving the what for, you know.
Yeah, giving us the benefit of her wisdom.
Yeah. And now, I'm sure she was on Dick Ferrari the last week or wherever as Minister for something else.
Something else entirely, yeah.
So she's now dealing with global warming, the end of the world.
By reusing her cup.
Yeah, and the COP conference and all of that.
All of that stuff,
She's now an expert on that now.
Everything.
So I'm just amazed at how brilliant these people are.
Yeah. I don't know why they actually give them titles anymore. I mean, as soon as they've got their title etched onto their office door, it's time to sand it off again. Just call them the Minister for whatever. Thanks a lot, John. The clocks are going back. I just can't stand it. It's going to be dark tomorrow.
Oh, no.
All day, pretty much. Why do we have to go through this nightmare every year? Seriously, why do we have to? And it's so dispiriting that most years I just can't be bothered anymore. Can't be bothered complaining about it. I think it came and went last year. I barely even mentioned it. But why do we have to go through this? I mean, think about all of the money and the energy yet that could be saved by keeping the clocks as they are, because you wouldn't have to turn the lights on for an hour. And if how many homes have we got in this country? Like 20 million, something like that. That's 20 million hours of extra lighting per day. I mean, that's got to be worth something, ain't it? So just stop doing it. Why are we still doing it? Please don't say that, that school children in the north of Scotland will be going into school in the dark. Because there's like 3 school children that are going to be affected by that. It don't make no never mind. You either go to school in the dark or you come home from school in the dark. Every single person in the land will get an extra hour of light in the part of the day that you can use it. You can't use an extra hour of light in the morning. What are you going to do with it? Go out jogging? No one does that. You do it in the evening when you come back from work. You could go play sports. You could do charitable work. Anything you blooming well like with an extra hour of light in the evening, but not in the morning when you're brushing your teeth and running out of the house for to try and catch the bus that's not coming. Or the train where you won't be able to get a seat. And it's only cost you £6,000 a year. But, you know, what's the point? Because nothing ever changes. And the reason, I firmly believe that the reason that they keep doing the same thing over and over again is because if a politician changes something like that, there will be a negative consequence. Somebody will be injured because of it, or the press will be able to say that they were injured because of it, and that politician is going to get it in the neck from the Daily Mail. That's the reason that they don't do it, because doing nothing is, you can't blame anybody for doing nothing. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. York. Hello, Jan.
Hello, Nick.
Jan,
how are you tonight?
I'm great, mate.
Good. Now then, the lecterns in Downing Street. Why do they have to have a new one for each Prime Minister?
Yeah, that's right.
It's not very environmentally friendly.
Environmentally friendly. That's right.
Mind you, Sunak had to have an old one, didn't he? Because they didn't have time to make him a new one. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had to have an old one. They're all kept in the government archives, apparently. And he had to have one from there.
How preposterous. Are they really that that vain that they have to have their own lectern, for crying out loud? I mean, how much must a lectern made to order cost? Thousands, well, I bet.
It's between 2,000 and 4,000.
What?
Yeah. Mind you, they'll think that's chicken feed, won't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You know, all these little amounts add up, don't they?
It's the price of a bottle of wine with dinner.
Oh, God. But, yeah, it seems so silly, doesn't it, really?
It fits right in with everything else that we know about the current regime. Their priorities are all out of whack.
Yeah. And I don't know how they can do these jobs when they keep switching them about. Do you?
Well, how are we...
Next week there's another.
Yeah, how we are expected to believe a single solitary word that they say, or have any confidence in their ability when they screw up health and then are sent to screw up the environment by way of screwing up education and every ministerial job in between. It's just ridiculous. They have absolutely no experience in any of these fields. And I keep saying it, but it is what would Donald Trump do?
Oh, shut up!
It is exactly what he would do. Put somebody in charge of a department that they know nothing about and are ideologically opposed to existing.
Yeah. Well, I don't see how they can know anything about it. You know, keep changing just like that. I don't know, it's balmy.
If a company was run as badly as that, it would be out of business now.
Well, of course it would. I remember something the other day that Jacob Rees-Mogg said. He was on Nick Ferrari one morning. Oh, yeah. This is going back quite a while. And Nick said, "Oh, you got that wrong, didn't you?" so Jacob Rees-Mogg said, "Yes, I did get that wrong, but for the right reasons."
Oh. Yeah.
Now, what does that mean?
I have no idea.
I don't know anything.
And neither does he. Yeah.
No. Oh, can I just say that I saw that clip you retweeted this morning about the chap on the trampoline?
Oh, wasn't that great?
Fantastic, wasn't it?
If you want to see something really quite surprisingly good and life-affirming, and it's art, but it's a performance piece. It's just great, and it involves a trampoline, so it's fun as well. And you're really rooting for him at the end, aren't you? I don't want to spoil it for people, but you really are thinking, oh, go on, just do it, get there, and he does.
Don't know how the heck he did it, but it was really good.
I don't know how he did it either, but it was excellent. It's on my Twitter feed. Thanks for reminding me about that, Jan.
Yeah.
Cheers, my dear.
Have you?
Okay. What?
Have you ever been on a trampoline? No.
I don't think I have.
Oh, I have. We had one at school.
Oh, well, maybe at school. But they always
didn't have it.
It frightens me, actually, a trampoline.
Oh,
it's a little bit frightening.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we had one, but we didn't have a staircase next to it, so we couldn't do those great tricks.
Yeah, and nor would
fantastic.
Nor would it have passed health and safety rules if you did.
Exactly. No, that's right.
All right, thanks a lot, Jan. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, if you want to see something really great, as opposed to being bemused and depressed and with everything what's in the news and everything that's on social media, then it's in my Twitter feed from today. It's a video of somebody doing a performance piece with a trampoline, and it's just really, really good. It's N.I. Abbot. That's my feed. 2 B's, 1 T. N.I. Abbot on Twitter. Is Twitter still there? We'll look into it. 0345 6060 973. Let's have Red Hill. Hello, Nigel.
Oh, good evening, Dick.
Nigel.
Reference to during the summer, I was using solar power. Now, I've just had time to think I'll be using wind power. And furthermore to that, the top engineers and the students we've got in this country, regarding health and safety, can build machines to get all these turnips and things out of the ground operated by skilled operators. So instead of the old days when we dumped tomatoes in the sea, we're all going to eat the stuff, the produce. So all the top pods, the bobbins, get their heads together and get all this stuff out of the ground, and it'll all be powered on wind power and, just swap the battery. It might sound easy, but there's so many brains out there.
Easy? It sounds unintelligible. I've got no idea what you're talking about. You started off with solar power and then wind power, and then you started talking about turnips. What are you talking about?
I've got my solar power rig going.
Now wait a minute. Let's take it piece by piece. You have a solar rig going. Now, what does that mean?
That means, that's set up. We haven't got much sun at the moment.
No.
So what I'm going to do is get a turbine, a quiet one, and see if I can float the power more so.
So with the solar power, you're actually managing to power more than a kettle?
Yeah, maybe. So if I've got wind power as well, I can float it almost continuous.
Float it?
Now the
hang on a minute. What do you mean, float it?
In other words, some people sell it to the National Grid, but I'm not doing that. I'm just,
you're keeping it, right?
Yeah.
Where are you keeping it? In buckets about the place.
Down batteries, but a lot of it is being wasted. When the wind's running, I can run everything continuous, rather than flatten the batteries from the solar.
Okay, I get it. But and then you started talking about turnips. What was that about?
Now, the idea of the agriculture, instead of people bending down, picking all the stuff out of the ground that's being wasted, not being picked right in the ground, is to build robots or some machines to get things out of the ground.
Vegetable picking robots.
Affirmative.
That are operated by, the actual designer, health and safety. And the people are trained to use these machines, all run on renewable energy.
Right, well, I get it. Get Skynet on the phone.
Correct.
Got some work for them to do.
Yeah, all the students, the top people, they think, it's an idea. I'll only build prototypes.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nigel, you come up with the money, you have the ideas, you get these robots made and sell them internationally, and we'll split the profits 50-50. What do you say?
Yeah. I've got all the bits here. There's no cost involved.
He's got the bits there. Well, don't put them together because they will become self-aware.
Affirmative.
Yeah, and then I know how that ends. Badly for the human race. All right, thanks a lot, Nigel, or whatever that was. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. I've just been given a list of Liz Truss's riders. You know when rock stars have riders on their contracts, like Van Halen, famously. Well, I've been given a list of Liz Truss's riders for her contract for her official trips, and I'll share that with you in just a minute. Isn't it exciting?
No.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
You're joking.
0345 6060 973. Right, so Liz Truss's rider for her official trips, the things that she insists on that are where she's going. I'll do that in a minute. But first, this bloke's been waiting a dog's age, so I'll take him immediately. Stanwell. Hello, Michael.
Hello there, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good stuff. I'm not sure if you would agree with me that if Russia does have these phone records and emails and whatever else, and they're using it as a bargaining chip, as to not expose the stuff that was going on for a year. Would you agree, as I think will happen, that the arms will stop going to Ukraine, as if they do, then they're going to expose what's been going on in government?
I don't think it's much of a secret. I mean, their record is clear for all to see. They're an absolute walking catastrophe. Every single blooming one of them. They're a total shower. What could they possibly tell us that we don't know or suspect already?
No, well, the thing is, when you've got it in email form and possibly, telephone recordings, it's very hard to pass it off and say, well, she said sorry sort of thing. So it's and what surprised me is that Russia hasn't sort of made any of this public on any sort of public platform as yet. So it's almost like they're waiting for something. And I believe that, if they demand, they're going to expose, the failings of government, I think that the UK will stop sending arms to Ukraine.
They're going to expose the failings of government, like we don't already know what a bunch of catastrophic failures they are already. I mean, seriously, I restate my case. What can he possibly tell us that we don't already know?
Well, the thing is, the committees and stuff that do a useless job, and the people that do their investigations. Yeah. These are the sorts of things that there could be information about her talking or sending emails to people. about these sort of, the hierarchy.
Well,
of,
yeah. I mean, he might have evidence that Liz Truss was not a very good Prime Minister.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a shocker?
Well, I don't think there's any information like that, because she's brilliant. She's absolutely amazing, as we all know. The only thing she's good for is making money for her friends, and that's all she's done.
Right. Or we could use her as a draft excluder, perhaps.
No. I'd prefer to use an old sock.
Right, OK. Maybe an old sock will be our next Prime Minister. There's something to look forward to. Thanks a lot, Michael. 0345 6060 973. OK, I'm going to talk about Liz Truss's riders in just a minute. But first, I'm going to take some of these calls because it is rude to keep them hanging on so very long. Salford. Hello, Mike.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can, yeah. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
It sounds like you've got what I had last night.
What, a frog in your throat?
Exactly.
Yeah. Has anyone ever wondered, or have you ever wondered, why didn't Theresa Coffey quit smoking when she was health secretary?
That's a good question. Yeah, in order to save the planet and herself. Yeah, she could have done a twofer.
Yeah, as in, if you're health secretary, I should hope you practice what you preach. Don't you think so?
Well, I would expect that would be my first port of call, to actually consider what it is that I do for a living and then change my behaviour accordingly in order to set a good example.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe it was too difficult for her to quit, don't you think?
I mean, how hooked can you get on cigars? You don't actually inhale the smoke.
No, but cigarettes, I think she does cigarettes as well now.
Oh, what, at the same time, probably? A cigar in one hand and a fag in the other.
Government.
Yeah.
Bunch of lunatic. And another thing, why doesn't
And another thing.
Yeah, I think we should all have, these wind turbines in our back gardens. Don't you think that would be a good idea?
I do think that would be a good idea. Not necessarily in our back garden, but on the top of our house. Why not?
Yeah, why has nobody thought of
that? Why has nobody thought of that?
So I've got a proposal for you this time.
Right then.
You help me with it, we'll split the profits.
Well, absolutely, if that's any help.
Yeah.
Stick a turbine on the top of your house, yeah. And furthermore, paint the tops of buildings white and cover the tops of all buildings, particularly government buildings, with a solar panel array. And let's get serious and insulate homes. Like the people who glued their face to the road, been yelling about insulate homes. And everybody said,
No.
because it was the people who were gluing their faces to the road who said it. But actually, it makes perfect sense. Let's do that, would be a good idea in order to save the planet. Because, like they say on those cute banners that they walk around with, there ain't no planet B. Get it? Thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Some texts and emails. Martin emails, thanks, Nicky Nacky Thanks to Nicky Nacky Noosak, brighter days lie ahead. The carers allowance is going up 10%. That's an extra 70 pence a day. So I'm splashing out in a cruise ship, says Martin. Yeah, not a ticket to a cruise ship. He's buying the actual ship. Terence emails, oh, here we go. Day 2 of the Rishi witch hunt. Why don't you leave him in peace? He's doing his best. Maybe if Labour did not bankrupt the country, we would have more money. I think governments are doing a wonderful job. We've never been prouder to be British, says Terence. I'll sum it up for you. Yeah, right. You just don't know when people are being trolls. I'm suspecting that he is trolling me. Back-endy a bridge troll. Bill, via Alexa, says, who came up with the stupid idea of turning the clocks back this weekend? It'll never catch on. I'll give it 6 months. Oh, a listener with material.
Oh, no.
The clocks are going back. Why do we have to do that? There must be, I'm going to estimate now, 98.7% of the public of this country do not want the clocks to go back. I bet that's correct. No one does. And yet we're doing it anyway. It's maddening. I mean, it's dark enough as it is in this country during the months of winter. Why do we have to make it worse? I mean, I am already looking forward to the clocks going forward again in spring, because it's just like, back into the light. How marvellous. Well, we could have that all year round, but we have to go through this folderol. It's awful. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Ian tweets, Rishi looks like his own boxed action doll. Well, that's just true.
Correct.
He does. Yes, he does. He looks like the kind of boxed action doll that some collector would leave unopened. Just put it in the back of the cupboard. Bring it out and stick it up the Antiques Roadshow. See how much they offer you for it. Phil tweets, why was Fishy's trousers at half-mast? Has Larry the cat died? Yeah, apparently he gets those suits made to measure. I don't know who they're made to measure, but they ain't made to measure him. 0345 6060 973. I've still got the Liz Truss's riders for her official trips. I'll do that in a minute. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nica@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's at LBC.
Nick Abbott.
Okie dokie.
All right, so here is Liz Truss's riders for her official trips. These are the things that she insists on get served to her when she was going here, there and everywhere, baby, on our behalf.
Absolutely.
It's the kind of thing that a rock band would put in their riders. You know, they want a dressing room. But famously, Van Halen...
Rock and roll!
They wanted... see, I don't know whether this is just folklore now, or whether this is actually true, but they wanted a bowl of M&Ms with the brown ones taken out. Now, why would they want that? Because if they had a bowl of M&Ms in their dressing room with the brown ones taken out, that means that the people who are putting on the show for them, the producers, had read the contract. If they didn't have that, then they knew that they hadn't read the contract. Either that or they just really, really hated brown M&Ms.
Disgusting.
Awful. So that's the kind of thing. And like Lemmy famously said on that advert, he wants a bath full of tequila and a goat. You remember that one? Right, so this is a Sunday Times story, apparently, on Liz Truss's the features for her rider for official trips. You ready? Now, you might want to write this down. If you're going to be hosting Liz Truss anytime soon, this is what she will require when she gets there. And she's been very clear about this.
I'm genuinely unclear.
She says double espressos served in a flat white-sized takeaway cup.
What?
Well, that's just wasteful. A flat white-sized takeaway cup is not as big as you would get a cappuccino in. By the way, just when you thought, now I know it's been around for a while, but just when you thought that people had invented all of the coffees that could possibly be invented, somebody came up with the flat white, which is the best coffee. It just is. It's more of the actual coffeeness and less of the milk and no foam. Double espressos served in a flat white-sized takeaway cup. But you don't need a cup that big for a double espresso. You could have a double espresso in an ordinary espresso cup and have less paper. Wasteful. So that's number one. Number two, no big brand coffee, independent producers only, except Pret if in the UK. What? First of all, what's a big brand coffee when it's at home? I mean, how big is big? And independent producers of anything usually get snapped up by the one or two multinational corporations that make anything. See beer for full details. I mean, my favourite lager at the moment has, and I thought it's an independent brewer, so I'll support it. Plus, I really, really like their product. And it's just got bought up by, I don't know, Anheuser-Busch or, one of those that own everything. All of those brands of beer that you think are independent are not. They're all owned by like 2 or 3 companies. They may start small, but as soon as they make a bit of money, then, the makers get pound signs in their eyes and sell up straight away. So I don't know what that means. No big brand coffee, independent producers only, except Pret, if in the UK. And no other chain can make good coffee. Cafe Nero do excellent coffee. I mean, Pret's good, but why just Pret? Maybe she doesn't like Italians. Racist. I mean, Pret's not British. They're owned by German billionaires. It says, no pre-made or plastic-packed sandwiches. Nothing to be served that has not been freshly prepared. Well, what does that mean? Freshly prepared? What does that mean? It has to be prepared in front of her? And if so, would she just stand there watching you do it? Doesn't she have proper business to do as, like a proper business person? And if freshly made includes an hour ago, then wouldn't you want them like packed for hygiene purposes? In some sort of plastic device? And if it was an hour ago, does that not also constitute pre-made? So does she insist on seeing it done? That's ridiculous. How precious is that? And it gets worse. She wants bagels or sushi for lunch. Absolutely no mayonnaise on anything ever. Why not? I mean, you wouldn't want mayonnaise on sushi because that's awful.
Disgusting.
Bagels, well, yeah, I'd have mayonnaise on a bagel. You put some smoked salmon on there. Although bagel's really not to my taste. It's a bit heavy. It's a bit like eating a brick. Just sits in your stomach like this great wad of blech. Absolutely no mayonnaise on anything ever. That's just weird. I mean, maybe that's why she wants the sandwiches to be made in front of her. She'll stay the hand that produces the mayonnaise. And a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc provided in the fridge of any overnight accommodation.
Booze.
And not just one, I bet. You believe that. Drinking at work. Missing you already, the Liz bot. She's joined the Doctor Who cast.
That is a disgrace.
I'm not entirely recovered from whatever it was last night. I seem to be confused. Oh, by the way, if you want to listen to this show, but you don't want to listen to the news and the ads, then we do make it into a podcast and take the news and the ads out. It's exclusive to Global Player. Now, if you haven't got Global Player, then I thoroughly recommend that you get it because it's got all of the stations that we do, all of the podcasts that we do. It will keep you entertained from now until the end of time. Global Player is available for Apple and Android and PC as well. You can just use it as a web page. Global Player is the only place that you will find the podcast version of this show. It's called Nick Abbot, the whole show. If you've got one of them stupid smart speakers, then just say its name and then open Global Player and play Nick Abbot, the whole show. That is the magic phrase. I don't recommend that you listen to last night's, by the way, because I was feeling a bit strange, a little bit peculiar.
Groovy.
Not in a good way. But tonight's has been okay. That's the magic phrase. Say the name of your stupid smart speaker. That one. Or any of the others, and say, open Global Player and play Nick Abbot, the whole show podcast. And the idea is we take the news and the ads out, which means it takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and by this time next year, you'll have saved up enough for a double espresso in a flat white cup. 0345 6060 973. Brighton. Hello, Ben. Oh, Ben.
Hello, Nick. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Hello, Ben.
A couple of hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Nick? Yeah.
I can.
Yeah,
Go
thank
ahead.
you so much for taking my call. It's just about the rock and roll thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, whether it's rock and roll or not, the point is it sounds like it. And also,
is it?
Most of the internet, which is like millions of people, think it sounded like it. And there's something really peculiar to me about this, because it's not like this track had sunk into obscurity. It's not like it disappeared.
Very, very famous.
Very recently used. It was 2018, right? They use it in one of the biggest grossing films of that year, Joker. It's the scene where the character turns into the psychopathic clown, dances down the stairs just before he commits all the murders. Right. And that soundtrack to that, which, by the way, is not a good look. If you're trying to sort of reassure the banks and that, you don't want to associate yourself with a psycho clown, do you? That's just a ridiculous thing to do. So I think that what alarmed me about it was just that the paucity of knowledge about popular culture. I was watching it, I was thinking, how could you not be aware of this film?
Amazing.
Because if you're aware of it, you'd be aware of the fact that
I think you're missing the big picture here, Ben. It's not the film that's the issue. It's the person that recorded the song that's causing the problem here.
Well, I agree with that. Of course, but I do also think that if you associate yourself with a psycho clown, that ain't a good look.
Yeah. I think at this point, we'd like most of the country would give a psycho clown the benefit of the benefit of the doubt. Let's get a psycho clown as our next prime minister. What do you say?
But I do think also it sort of ties in with me. I mean, that kind of, like I say, that sort of thing where you're sort of only dimly aware of reality, which seems to be sort of what characterises this bunch of clowns, is the fact that the COP26 thing, again, this seems to me to tie into that, to tie into the fact you don't know what Rock and Roll Part 2 sounds like. You're not aware it was used in the film. You're not aware of Gary the paedophile. You're not aware of any of this stuff. And you're also not aware, apparently, that climate change is a big deal. I mean, this is truly alarming. Johnson, on the other hand, and I don't know whether he cares about climate. I very much doubt he does. I'm assuming that Carrie is probably genuine in her concerns about it. I don't know whether he cares or not, but I do know that he is horrible enough and psychopathic enough or sociopathic enough to actually want to mess with his former friends' heads in such a way that when he turns up at that conference, should he turn up at that conference, every single other world leader is going to look at him as almost the prime minister in exile, the prime minister in waiting. And what damage that could potentially do to the markets, etc., to the pound, is horrendous.
Yeah,
I mean,
that ain't going to make never mind. He just wants the spotlight again. He wants to feel important. He wants to feel fated and hear the sound of applause wherever he goes. That's what it is. I don't think it's anything more complicated than that.
I totally think that's the case. I totally think. I mean, the one doesn't obviate the other. I mean, I think he wants to mess with his former mates' heads. But I also think, of course, he wants the attention. Of course, he loves all that. He loves all the.
I'm not sure mates is quite the right word.
And the fact that you and I are talking about him.
Yeah. Right. Well,
I mean, the fact is, we're all talking about him again, aren't we?
I guess so. Yeah. For a brief moment.
It's a shocker.
Until we can persuade ourselves to forget him again. I'd almost managed it. Thanks a lot, Ben. 0345 6060 973. It's just he just wants to be in the spotlight again. He wants it to be all about him again. I mean, does anybody really think that he cares so deeply about the environment that he's going to show up off his own bat? And forsake any publicity that comes from it? Oh no, it's not about me. I don't wish to be interviewed or my picture taken in any way. Please. He's going to barge to the front of the stage and going to knock Emmanuel Macron right off that stage. News coming in from just behind the glass there. Fun fact, and that's where it ends. The guy in charge of Rishi Comms is the son of Dracula. No, wait. The son of the author, Anthony Horowitz. Yeah. And I just thought it was Interesting. Ah. Okay. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
As soon as you have another interesting thought, please keep it to yourself.
Nick Abbott on LBC.
Hang about, Nick. Listen. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
This text was presumably coming in from last night when I was talking about pensions. I can't remember exactly what it was I was saying, but it exercised this bloke called Martin. Martin texted, "Pensions are not a benefit. I've paid for mine all my working life. Stop calling it a benefit. Furthermore, I'm 67, didn't vote for Brexit and didn't vote Conservative. Also, I don't read the Daily Mail or play golf. All pensioners aren't senile or crazy," says senile crazy Martin. And Stephen texts, "Nick, I am not very political, but who on earth is the 1922 Committee? I don't get it." The 1922 Committee is a group of harumphing old duffers who were born before 1922. I think you'll find that that is correct. And George tweets, "The British voters are too gullible and stupid not to send the Tories in next time, you mark my word." Which is offensive, but has a ring of truth. A ring of truth. Ealing. Hello, Paul.
How you doing?
Yes, Paul.
It's what that guy was saying earlier about the rock and roll song being played in the Joker film. And you were saying, like, that basically don't people think about what's going on and this, that, and the other. And I think in England it's totally different from America. I mean, when they talk about freedom of speech, they've basically have got freedom of speech. If you watch SNL, the stuff that they come out with in their sketches, most probably wouldn't be allowed in the UK, if you know what I mean. It's like, I think over here it's a case of you've got freedom of speech as long as it doesn't upset anybody.
Well, I'm not sure that's true. I mean, first of all, Saturday Night Live, they don't do anything on SNL that they don't do on, say, Have I Got News for You, or any of the other sort of political comedy shows that we got on TV in this country. I don't really see the difference.